Hello, I am Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Anime Expo 2017 Godfest, as well as the 6 new cards that are being introduced alongside. So, as with any Godfest, the decision whether or not to roll is done on a case-by-case basis. You need to determine and evaluate if the cards have value for yourself. If not, you can just simply pass. However, everyone's situation is unique, and just because some cards are ranked higher on my tier list does not mean they're going to have tremendous applications for you if they just don't have synergy with your monster box. In addition to all of that, I do encourage you to join my Discord server, because joining my Discord server will at least introduce you to other knowledgeable pad players who may or may not be able to at least help you out and assist you with even box and team building help. So, first things first, the Anime Expo Godfest is coming on Friday, and it will be debuting the new Pantheon of Samurai 2, as well as a new Godfest exclusive whose name I cannot pronounce. But all the featured cards that are being present will have 5 times rates, along with plus 25 to each stat. So a total of 75 plus eggs per card. This is the highest it's ever been in recorded North American pad history. So in theory, if you roll 4 times, you basically trade 20 stones for a 297. Not something I really recommend, but if you're very lazy and like to gamble, it technically could pay off. However, the unfortunate part about this Godfest is the only featured Pantheon is the Samurai 2, and they have 6-star bases, so they're actually going to be quite a bit rarer, even though they are 5 times rates. Furthermore, any non-featured Godfest exclusive will not be appearing on those respective days. So in day 1, there's no way to acquire the Metatrons. So, I didn't even click continue reading, but you should click continue reading if you are reading this article. And my basic tier list has an S through D ranking system. The up and down arrows indicate if cards have moved up or shifted since the last tier list, basically since the last Godfest, so you can kind of keep track of what's getting better or worse. Plus and minuses are used to basically designate slightly stronger within that tier, so like an A plus is obviously better than an A minus. School has hopefully taught us something. So, the Samurai 2 series as an overview. So, the Samurai 2 series is new, and they come in 6-star bases. And because they are 6-star bases, they are going to be inherently rarer to roll. But because of that, they also tend to have quite a few elements that make them a lot stronger and help advance the rate of power creep within Puzzle & Dragons. So, all these cards do have 2 distinct evolutions, which will actually change their active skill. So the way they come out of the rare machine is their base form, but you can awaken them. And whenever you do an awoken evolution, you actually change their active skill. And in this case here, it's not necessarily an upgrade. It can be viewed as more of a side grade. So you need to determine whether or not these are going to be used as subs, leaders, or inherits. And you have to basically choose very carefully which active skill will benefit you the most. So for the most part, all these cards are ranked within at least the A tier, and there's only a bit of fluctuation between the individual colors. So Inahime is A, and they can produce a board of fire, wood, and heart orbs. And their secondary benefit is either +2 to combo count, or 3 turns of Awoken and regular bind clear. So you have to basically determine which secondary benefit is more impactful or meaningful for you, because if you like the +2 combo count, they're going to become an inherit. If you love the bind clearing capabilities because they are bind immune, you want to make them awoken form. Now, where have we seen this style board change before? The simplest answer is Verdandi, because they also produce a board of fire, wood, and heart orbs. And one thing to keep in mind is when Verdandi gains her new evolution, which makes her a healer, she's going to have tremendous value on Kushinada Hime teams. Furthermore, if you inherit Inahime on top of Verdandi, you retain that powerful board changer, but you also get that +2 combo count. And that +2 combo count is incredibly powerful because it will transform basically any tricolor board into an instant kill board, because those 7 to 8 pre-made combos will become 9 to 10, and everything's just going to simply fall over. So this +2 combo count is basically a secret damage enhancing power for Kushinada Hime or other combo-based teams. So, on the flip side, if you like that bind clearing capabilities, the 3 turns is interesting. It does somewhat take care of a lot of the Awoken skill binds, but it doesn't remove the 5 turns from Lynthia, so Green Odin may or may not be a more important inherit for certain teams and certain farming content. So again, you need to determine which branch of evolution is more meaningful for yourself. As a sub Inahime, is able to provide lots of utility because they have the bind clearing, they're bind immune, they have a nice tricolor board changer. They're just helpful overall. They have lots of utility, and they're a useful card to have on many mono fire teams. As a leader, they are able to produce 16 times damage on their own, but they cannot clear 3 connected orbs. So your combo count is going to be naturally lowered, and you also require 8 fire orbs for damage. Yes, it is a large amount of damage, but you're not going to have you're going to have low combo count. You do get some damage mitigation, so they will be a fun leader, but it's going to be inconsistent because they are vulnerable if they don't have those 8 fire orbs, because they don't actually gain the ability to stall or have damage mitigation. So the next one is Nini? I don't know how to say names, but regardless, they're basically a color-swapped version of Inahime, except they produce water, light, and heart orbs. Similar idea, the split evolutions, the non-awoken form is +2 combo count, and the awoken form has the bind clearing capabilities. However, water already has a lot of interesting +2 combo count cards through Kepri and Mary, so there is a little bit of competition in that aspect, so it's not as unique nor novel. However, light-based teams can definitely take advantage of this board changer. Furthermore, it finally grants a board change synergy to Wukong for light and Gabriel for water, so it does bring a little bit more value to those 2 cards because we now at least have a board change wombo combo for them. Oichi is considered very cute in my Discord server, as well as being the highest ranked of the Samurai 2 Pantheon. And this is because they offer the most interesting utility and most powerful board changer from a universal point of view, because they are able to produce dark orbs. So producing dark orbs is always a beneficial aspect in today's current meta because dark teams somewhat reign supreme, and having able to produce dark, hearts, and wood is tremendously powerful, along with that +2 combo count. So she has 3 skill boosts as well as 2 skill bind resists. So she does somewhat compete with Tengu for the skill bind or skill boost role on your Woken Liu Bei teams. It does have a beneficial orb changer or board changer that does synergize with Liu Bei. You use her plus Liu Bei, instant full board wood. You get +2 combos, so you get a decent amount more damage. But at least it has some flexibility. You can use her as a sub on real. Is it attacker? I believe you can. Did I write that? No, but the main issue is you are going to be able to use her as a dark and wood board changer for Kushinada Hime as well as Noctis teams. And that +2 combo count is going to help guarantee you hit your maximum multiplier. So this is why she's ranked A+, because she has a little bit more interest in terms of awakenings as a sub, but it's her board change has the most synergy on current top tier teams. And that's why she's ranked the highest, even though she has the exact same color swappedness of the fire and water versions. The light form is an interesting card because they differ from their water, fire, and wood cousins in that they trade out bind immunity for 2/7 combo awakenings. And the 2/7 combo awakenings are incredibly powerful because when you hit 7 combos or more, they are going to be dealing 4 times damage. So they're going to be your hardest hitting card in most scenarios. And that does have tremendous value, but the main problem is they don't have the perfect home to be used as a sub because their base active skill is a little awkward. They produce a board of fire, water, wood, light, and heart orbs. So they produce everything but dark, but as I mentioned earlier, producing dark is the most powerful and meaningful thing. So because they don't produce dark, it's going to be a little harder to use them as an inherit. However, with that being said, they actually have reasonable leadership potential because they basically mirror Sakuya's activation requirements in terms of colors, so you have a good pairing, but you also get a 7x6 board and a 25% damage mitigation component. So you have a board changer that produces the 4 elements plus hearts needed for activation. You also have the pairing with Sakuya, so you do have 100 times damage on a 7x6 board, plus they hit for 4 times damage. So they're hitting for 400 times. Your Sakuya friend and other subs, depending on their 7 combo awakenings or not, will be hitting for quite high amounts of damage as well. And they are actually a reasonably powerful leader. It seems a little unusual, I feel. Maybe there's another leadership pairing. If you do know of another leadership pairing, please let me know. But as far as I'm aware, Sakuya does work. And 100 times with 7x6 plus 7 combo awakenings is actually going to deal respectable damage overall. And now we transition into No Hime. And No Hime is the lowest ranked of the Samurai 2, and that's because their board changer is a 5 elemental one. It does produce dark, so it does get to be used on, say, Kushinada Hime teams that run Hakus. It can be used on Dark Metatron, but it doesn't produce enough Dark Orbs really, so it's a little too sparse with 5 elements. However, with that being said, they also have the dual 7 combo awakenings, but their main downside is they don't have a good home to be fit on. They are not god typing, so they can't be used on Dark Metatron. There's no healer, so they can't be used on Kusanagi Hime, so they're in a little bit of an awkward place, but again, having 2 7 combo awakenings does enable them to hit for almost silly amounts of damage. So they are in a little bit of an awkward place, but those 7 combos are really just such a powerful aspect for them. And now I rank the new Godfest exclusive, and I don't do plus or minuses, so they just come out at A, and their name I cannot pronounce, but it is a little mouthful to say, but they are essentially a poor alternative to Aizen, because they are focusing on rows instead of color crosses. Now, the main problem with them is that they need to run light water cards to actually have recovery, so having sufficient recovery will be challenging. It doesn't have as nice of a sub pool compared to Aizen. Furthermore, because they are wanting to connect multiple multiple light orbs, they also struggle to find light water cards with rows in order for the recovery, but also having row awakenings for damage, because yes, 225 times damage is a lot, but unless you have sufficient row awakenings to really capitalize upon it, it's not going to be as overpowering as Aizen is, because you still have the opportunity to kill the pre-draws with 10 million defense, but you most likely need to use an orb changer, which is kind of normal to be expected, but it's going to need enough rows and 2 unique rows, so you're going to be somewhat orb hungry. You're going to need to have 8 plus 6. You need to have 14 light orbs to basically punch through the pre-draws in most scenarios. However, what makes them less ideal outside of the not ideal sub pool is the fact that their 36 times flat multiplier is not as efficient as Aizen, because they're going to struggle to find subs of TPA and orb enhances, because you want to go for rows as well as being light and water for recovery. So they're just all over the place, and yes, 36 times can kill things, but Aizen excels because they get the TPAs and orb enhances, so they're going to do significantly more damage than this character will. Furthermore, say Aizen can use Zerog Infinities as subs, and in co-op, that 50% bonus with the TPA means they're hitting for very large amounts of damage. So it's not to say that they're a poor card, they're just not as elite as they necessarily could be in this current meta. If they were released, say, 6+ months ago, they'd probably be a little more favorable, because we just wouldn't have had all these overpowering leaders to compare them against. So this Pantheon tier list will be obviously in the YouTube description down below for the corresponding article, but I just want to point out that Anubis moved up, Diao Chan moved up, Pandora moved up. Now Anubis has become pretty amazing for 3-player because his damage output is somewhat unrivaled. They can activate off most given boards, so it's only fitting that they are S+. Diao Chan is a very powerful Anubis sub, but they don't push into S+, just because, yes, they are probably the best in slot sub for Anubis, but in all honesty, the Gunma alternative does work. You need double Diao Chans for full efficiency, but a Gunma does provide a large amount of health, and then you can start sticking on cards like Orpharian, so your actual effective health is reasonably close to what the Anubis would be with double Diao Chans. And I know Loki is S+, and people think, well, Dark Athena is not so great, but Anubis can function without Diao Chans. Dark Athena really struggles to function without Loki, and that's the main reason why they have different rankings. Pandora moves up because more so because Dark Metatron is so powerful, and Pandora is actually a very powerful sub. Now, Dark Metatron can go for rows, they can go for orb enhances, or they can go for orb enhances TPAs. So with multiple Pandoras as subs, you have perfect damage control, which is very important in Cosmic Trinity because you can plan out the amount of damage you deal and match a specific amount every single time and basically burst them down without much trouble or hesitation. Real has been demoted to A+ from S- just because they're still a good leader, but they're just not as elite as maybe I overvalued them to be. And then I moved the Wisdom Kings up because they actually gain 2 turns of haste. It's worth noting, but the actual burst damage enhancement is not really meaningful. It's mostly they have haste, but 2 turns is unique. The Godfest exclusive tier list, I don't think anyone actually moved, but yeah, no one actually moved because I did a post for the 10 stone Godfest exclusive machine. The only new thing is the blue-yellow card that was introduced. So let's put it all together. Basically, we can see that day 2 is significantly more stacked from at least a tier list point of view, but in all honesty, Dark Metatron, Fujin, and Dark Kali are just very powerful overall. You have much tastier Godfest exclusive than A. You have far less Bs and Cs, well, far less Bs by comparison. So if you are planning to roll, and unless you need specific cards from day 1, day 2 is going to be the stronger day overall. So in conclusion, like, the Anime Expo Godfest is reasonably exciting, at least from a on paper rates point of view. However, you do have to keep in mind that 5 times Pantheon rates for a 6-star base is going to actually have a lot more disappointment than you may anticipate. However, the 5 times Godfest exclusives is quite powerful, so again, use your judgment if this Godfest is exciting enough for you to roll in. Hopefully you all have a Mantastic day. I wish you the best of luck if you do choose to roll, and happy puzzling!